महबूब, क्या दिख रहा है स्क्रीन पे? क्या दिख रहा है?
वही स्लाइड्स, कैरियर अपॉर्चुनिटी।
वो एक साइड दिख रहा है, मतलब फुल स्क्रीन में दिख रहा है ना?
फुल स्क्रीन में नहीं दिख रहा है,
फुल
स्लाइड शो में नहीं दिख रहा है।
अच्छा, अब
या नाउ इट्स फुल स्क्रीन।
ओके।
अभी चैट में सेंड करूँ आप?
आप मुझे देखो कि आप 1 सेकेंड, साउंड। Hi everybody, I hope you are able to hear me and see my screen. You can type in the chat window if that's the case. Please don't start your video. You can switch off your video feed. Hi guys, welcome to this webinar. So we are going to talk for the next 45 minutes approximately about IoT, IIoT, and what career opportunities it opens up for all of us in that. And I hope all of you enjoy the session and like what I'm speaking. At any point of time you have any questions, because I'm going to keep everybody muted. Any point of time you have any questions, please do type in the chat window, and I will make sure that I answer it at the end of this session. Okay, I hope my voice is clear and you guys are able to hear me clearly, right? Okay, so let's start. Just let me open my chat window if possible here. Okay, let me admit some people. Okay, so let's start the session, guys. So we belong to a company called InstaIV, and I'll talk for a couple of minutes about company. Then I'll talk for about 4 minutes. I'll try and explain all of you what IoT and IIoT means. In terms of what an application of IoT and IoT means, what are different components in IoT and IIoT. Then we are going to talk for about 24 minutes about the opportunities. What are different areas which are opening up and what are different things which are possible. I request everybody to please don't start your videos. Just keep your videos off. You don't need that. You can just listen and see my screens. And then last 10 minutes, I'm going to reserve for question answer sessions so that we can, try and answer everybody's question. Any point of time during the conversation or during the, I'm going to speak, it's not a conversation actually, but you have any question which pops in your mind, please do type in the chat window there and then. In the end, I'll go through all the questions basically. Okay, sure. So let's start the session now. So, we are a Hyderabad-based company, and the name InstaIV is inspired by, like the Ivy League colleges, basically, which are the top colleges of the world. And InstaIV means that instantly you can get access to education on par with the Ivy League colleges. That's the name, but that's how you're given the name. So we have trained thousands of people worldwide, and we have our own IoT platform. We have lots of clients. We have been ranked over the years by different magazines and publications as one of the top IoT startup in the world. And we have a very strong team. We have overall, more than hundreds of years of experience as a team, and we have worked on several dozens of industrial and other IoT projects. And as I said earlier, we have trained tens of thousands of people in IoT. Okay, let me admit some people here. Okay. So, like I'm Piyush Jain. I've started this company, InstaIV. Before that, we used to call it Excelta Systems, especially on the education side. And we started that company in 2013. When I say we, earlier I used to partner with a person, but now I've started on my own, the InstaIV, essentially carrying forward the legacy of Excelta, basically. And we have created this InstaIV Academy, and we are offering several kinds of different trainings and other things on it on IoT. And we have also built the world's first industrial IoT lab, which gives hands-on experience in IoT. Let me go to the next slide. So these are some of our clients. As you can see, these are not a complete list. I mean, this is a very small part of the list, but literally who's who of Indian IT. And worldwide, many companies have been our clients. Okay. Moving on. So, coming to the main part of this presentation, which is about strategy, there's going to be a requirement worldwide for basically 1 million plus IoT developers in the next couple of years, basically. So IoT started with a big bang in around 2015, 2014, 2016. But then it kind of petered out because it was realized that it is not simple. Doing IoT is not simple, and there are tons of complexities involved, which I'll explain to you in a few minutes, which means a lot of opportunities for people like us working in IoT field. Okay, so that's where we come from, where we help people understand different areas which are opening up for IoT, which match with their skill set, basically. Okay, so so IoT today is where cloud was in 2004 and big data was in around 2012. Those people who cloud, when initially it came, people said nobody will go to cloud. Or when big data came, people said that nobody cares about big data. Why there is no big data, no logic behind it. But today where they are, right? They are, I mean, people who got into big data and cloud in that time have made it big now because they have now got that experience to make it big. Similarly, IoT is a very vast area. In fact, it's a superset of all these technologies, be it cloud, be it big data, be it analytics, predictive analytics, be it sensors, hardware, software, all combined. So it's a very wide area. And anybody who jumps into it now can really reap the benefits for the next 20 years. We're talking about a career for next 20 years in this. So now let me try and explain to you IoT in a very, very briefly, 4 minutes, IoT and IIoT, so that you and me are on the same page when we talk about opportunities and career options in IIoT. So you can see here something I call a node. So what is a node? See, when we talk about IoT, we talk about making things smart, intelligent. Smart is IoT keyword. So when we say smart TV, smart refrigerator, smart machine, talk about smart car, making something IoT enabled, basically. So when we talk about making something smart, we visualize it as if we are trying to make something just like us. So it should have an ability. What do we have? We have ability to sense, we have ability to communicate, ability to understand and take action on it, right? Same way, we want IoT, IoT devices to have all these capabilities, to be able to talk, communicate in some way, to be able to understand things happen around them, to be able to take actions based on that. Okay, without human intervention. We want to create kind of replicas of us, which we have been dreaming for centuries, but now we are able to do, basically. So when we talk about a node could be anything. Could be a factory, full-fledged factory. Could be small appliance at your home, like a refrigerator, a TV, a fridge, or even an electric bulb, like Philips Hue. or could be a car, could be a truck, could be anything, right? So a node is a device which is intelligent, which is able to communicate, which is able to take intelligent decisions based on the inputs given to it, and able to send data across the networks, communicate with other devices around it, like what we do as humans. So what do we need for it? So the device or whatever we want to make IoT smart needs to have some sort of sensors. I'm just giving a very small list of sensors. Literally today there are tens of thousands of sensors available in the market of all shapes, sizes, and capabilities. And then you have literally, let me admit some people who join, and then you have you know an ability for this device to be able to communicate to the outside world, right? So communication to the outside world will happen with an ability we give to this device, to some sort of module we built into this to be able to communicate either using Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or Zigbee, Z-Wave. There are so many communication protocols which are typically low range and near protocols which you give to this so that it can communicate to the outside world. If in the case of a refrigerator, for example, we'll give it maybe a Wi-Fi module access where it can communicate to a Wi-Fi using a Wi-Fi to the outside world. In case of a car, maybe we will give it an access to a GSM module because it will be on the road, cannot access a fixed Wi-Fi system, right? So we will give it an access where uh, it will have a GSM module built into it, like a mobile phone, which can communicate to the outside world, right? And also receive instructions back. So this node is also called a very constrained device where you can't spend too much money on it. So if somebody says, okay, a smart car is costing, $5,000. I'm just giving a dumb example, maybe. But a smart TV, let's say, is costing $1,000. A normal TV costs $500. So people will not buy a smart TV. Why do they care, right? But then, in order to make something smart, we should make, give it an ability to communicate and other things at a very cheap price. It should not consume too much power because we don't want to add too much, power consumptions to things, basically. We don't want to make it too big in size so that it changes the size of the existing thing itself. It should be very small in size, especially if you consider a wearable device, for example. It should be very, very small in size, very small in weight, cost, size, location. Cost wise also, it should be very, very cheap so that it becomes smart, able to do the work. Also, it's affordable to the population because in IoT, you talk about a huge number, a number in millions. And then there is an external module, like there is a mobile phone or there could be a fixed gateway. So a smart a smart appliance at your home might talk to a gateway. In a factory, you can have a LoRa gateway, and then all the machines can talk via that gateway to a cloud, and your home appliances can talk to a mobile phone maybe and pass the information to a cloud-based system through that, right? So a gateway kind of device which acts as a mediator between a node and a cloud-based platform, and it communicates on one side using typically, your mobile phone will typically use Bluetooth kind of communication or Wi-Fi kind of communication, and then your gateway can use LoRa, Zigbee, Z-Wave. There are so many small range protocols that I'll talk a little bit about later also. And then this gateway communicates with this node on one side with the low range communication, and to the other side to the cloud-based system using long range communication channels like 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, or things like Sigfox, NB-IoT, LoRaWAN. If you've heard about these communication protocols, which enable IoT devices to talk to the world or talk to the cloud-based platform. And what is a cloud-based platform? Any device which is born in this world, basically. Anything which is born in this world. Like, for example, we are born. So we are saying we want to make IoT devices like human beings, right? So we are born in this world. Similarly, IoT devices will not be manufactured. We'll be born in the world in a way, right? And these devices will know when they are born to which cloud-based platform to communicate with. So this ERP of things, as we are calling it, or a cloud-based device management software, or a IoT platform, several words are used to describe it. It's nothing but a software which typically runs on a cloud and communicates to these gateways, so many gateways to get the data from these devices, and also passes instructions back to them as needed. For example, a car is being hacked into, passes information to this cloud-based platform, and this cloud-based platform reverts back and tells the car that, okay, somebody is entering, so please stop the engine, freeze the engine, don't start the engine. So this ERP of things platform is a very powerful software which does it. It also has, as you can see, a huge big data system and analytics system where all this analysis is done. What's happening with the data? So this in nutshell is a full IoT system, where different node is a very important gateways and IoT platform. And this is what leads to huge opportunities opening. And IoT is all about no human intervention. I mean, a smart car should be able to do it on its own. There should be not like a person has to do some action within it. Or a smart TV should be able to automatically talk to a cloud-based platform without human intervention. Okay. So there are some more people admitting into the call. I just admitted. Okay. So these are the different potential areas. And this is not a conclusive list, but these are the opportunities which are opening up in IoT and industrial IoT, which are huge and which kind of, open an opportunity for everyone, be it a fresher, be it an experienced person, be it a hardware guy, be it a software guy, be it a mechanical engineer, be it an electronics engineer, be it a chemical engineer. Opportunities open up for everybody. And, one more thing that I want to explain in this previous is that everything above this line that you see here, this line, is a domain specific, and everything below is undomain. So your sensors, the kind of analytics you will do is all domain specific, while the platform that you use and the kind of gateways you use is non-domain specific. So that gives us all these opportunities for different kinds of people. So node experts, so node is nothing but the starting point of IoT, where all the data is captured by sensors and all that, right? So it opens up huge opportunities for people like you and me. So you can see here that uh, basically devices need to be converted into nodes. So already factories are there, right? Already you have so many appliances, or there are new appliances being manufactured. So they have to become nodes. So there needs to be some electronics which will go into it. Some sort of sensors will go into it. So that is a very big opportunity. And there's a saying that anything above $50 can become a node in future and can become a smart device. So anything you buy above $50, which is roughly around 3,500 rupees, will become IoT enabled in future. So just give me a second, guys. Yeah. So a node needs to be constrained, as I already said, be able to communicate, should have sensing ability, should be able to communicate securely, should be sturdy, over the air updatable, so that you can send the code updates to like your mobile phone, so that you don't have to travel, because these nodes will be in everyone's home and other places. You can't go everywhere and update, and they should be smart. Smart is a keyword of IoT, right? So basically, what I'm trying to say here is that a node should have all these capabilities, right? So this opens up huge opportunities for professionals of many backgrounds. So for embedded programmers, for example, you have to be able to program these nodes, because some of these nodes will be battery enabled. For example, you're putting nodes in a farm, let's say in the soil, to figure out soil quality or soil moisture levels in a farm which is spread over 1,000 acres. Okay, or in homes, you want to sense something, you're having hundreds of homes, it is spread. In a home, you can supply potentially power to it, but in a farm, very little chance of supplying power. You have to have battery, right? So it opens up a lot of opportunities of people who are into software, in the firmware development, what kind of battery needs to go in, how to save power, what is lazy programming, lazy nodes, a lot of concepts behind it. Then there are a lot of operating systems opening up, which are working on, which are especially built for nodes, like RTOS, QCOX, TinyOS. These operating systems, the kind of size they have is like 100 KB, 100 kilobytes or 50 kilobytes, not like your 100 MB or 1 GB Windows systems. So very, very powerful, and you can do a lot of programming because you want to keep the nodes very simple. Then you have interfaces, so many interfaces on hardware side, and you have so many new concepts coming up like Node-RED, and your platforms like Arduinos and Raspberry Pis, and your Red Beer, Galileo, Edison. You must have heard about Arduino Raspberry Pi for sure. So these are prototype development platforms which have become quite popular, and Raspberry Pi, for example, has already sold in like tens of millions. Arduino also has sold in tens of millions. We have used extensively these platforms to develop devices for people, and they work at a very, very consistent level, and they work very, very reliably at a very cheap price you can build. So we expertise in that. So basically, people who have expertise in these kind of things, who have developed things on them, have got a lot of market out there. Then, for example, we look for people who have worked on Raspberry Pi, Arduino. Then you have so many platforms, like IoT platforms like Xively, ThingWorx, Microsoft Azure, and They have built, they are building small embedded programs which you can embed in your node, and then it will start communicating with those platforms. So being understanding those concepts, working with those platforms, all are opening huge employment opportunities for people basically. Then going on to the next opportunity, which is protocol developers. So I talked about protocols like BLE, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Sigfox, 5G, NB-IoT, LoRa. So each and every protocol is a study in itself, right? It has basically got huge, ways of making a protocol work for a device. So somebody who understands these protocols, has worked on devices with these protocols, have worked on these devices securely, using the security features of the protocol, in huge demand for the next 20 years, basically. So being able to convert a network into a mesh network using these protocols to be able to pass data across, huge number of devices, and less data, how to concentrate data, how to encrypt data, all those things, very, very important knowledge areas for protocol developers, and lots of opportunities opening up, for people in this area. Then you have automation experts, right? So sensors, for example. So many people have hardly seen sensors. Sensors are always behind the scene. Like, for example, your typical mobile phone today has dozens of sensors in it. So there's an app called Sensor Box you can download, and you will see that there are so many, sensors in your mobile phone, basically. So, understanding sensors, understanding sensor properties, understanding sensors from a domain perspective. Like, for example, you are in a retail domain. What sensors I need for retail domain? How to sense people? How to sense gestures? How to sense, people taking out stuff from an aisle? Those require different kind of sensors. Then there are industry sensors. How to understand the power supply to a machine? How to sense the vibrations in a machine? All those are different sensors. So understanding these sensors, right sensors, integrating them into IoT reliably, huge area opening up. Testing of sensors, working reliability testing of sensors. Testing itself is opening up as a huge area in IoT, and huge um, opportunities there. Retrofitting any device you want to retrofit. So, for example, already factories are there, right? To how to make those factories smart, how to make machines in those factories smart. Huge area opening up. Anybody who has understanding of these things, big opportunities for next 20, 30 years. This work is going to go on for next 30 years. Especially after this pandemic, which has happened, huge demand for management to know what's happening on the factory floor. What are there people working there? Are there issues happening in production? They want to know, and getting them without human intervention is key, because otherwise manipulated data comes. So all that is very important areas opening up. Then you have product experts, right? So in IoT there are several product kind of things which have come up. Understanding those, you can say, frameworks, anybody who understands that can easily find opportunities in global. I will share a list of companies later on about where the opportunities lie for you. But you can have retail, vehicle tracking experts, understands how to convert a vehicle into, how to track a vehicle, what kind of devices to use, what kind of, people are there. There are lots of companies manufacturing. Which one works better in Indian environment, in US environment, and all that. Huge opportunities opening up. Wearable nodes. You have Fitbits and Google Fit and Apple Watch and all those things. Huge opportunity of wearable node experts who understands how to make a wearable node, a small node, which can really work without causing any sort of irritation and other things. So node experts who understand how to use these protocols, as well as how to build, what data to capture and all that. Big requirement. Domain product experts. So if you are an expert in any domain, whatever education or qualifications you might have, huge opportunities open up for you, because you have water, home, like, for example, measuring water levels in different things, tanks, rivers, lakes. Already we are seeing projects in this domain in smart city and other things. Then you have home automation expert. Home automation, huge area in IoT. Anybody who understands, okay, I want to automate things in home, I want to make them without human intervention work. For example, you enter into the home understands that you have come in, and accordingly starts AC, does things for you the way you want it. So all that is home automation, and huge opportunities opening up there. Lightning experts, agriculture, one of the biggest areas opening up. Food security is again crucial, right? Especially now going forward. structural stability, retail, anybody having any domain knowledge, logistics, the biggest area of IoT, and now medical. Recently there was a person who approached us saying they want to convert their thermometers, and they already manufacture thermometers. They want to convert their thermometers into IoT enabled, so that they know at the end of the day how many people have variations in temperature and all that, rather than relying on that person who is taking, who is typically could be uneducated also, right? So when some people have approached us even for IoT enabling ventilators, so that they know how the ventilators are performing, how many people on ventilators, and stuff like that, how many hours it's working, right? So huge opportunities opening up. Any product you can think of in any domain, IoT, it can be IoT enabled, and experts are needed for that. So huge opportunities opening up for people. Then you have usability experts, right? For example, Fitbit I mentioned. So you have to have the Fitbit as a very small device, right? It cannot be big, it cannot be way too much, it cannot cause irritation in your skin. It has to be cheap also. It has to communicate securely to your mobile phone and does it. So mechanical people who can understand the kind of material to use, what kind of flap to use, how to do all that. Very, very important. 3D printing experts, every prototyping. So when you want to make anything in IoT, you have to prototype, right? So prototype means basically, uh, one second. Yeah, prototype means, okay. So luckily, Zoom has removed the 40-minute time limit, so we can go on for a little more time. Thanks, Zoom, for that. Okay, so actuation mechanism, how to actuate things. So IoT is not just about reading data. It's about actuating things back on the device. Like, as I told earlier, a motor starts making too much noise or vibrating. To stop the motor. Your AC, gas leakage happens. To stop the compressor, otherwise it will burn out, right? So how to do all that? Very crucial. So mechanical people who will actually work on those compressors to make it happen, those things are very important in IoT. Then you have environmental experts, humidity, temperature. So people who have environment engineering. Environment is a big impact item today. Huge opportunities opening up in the sector. Measuring environment factors, pollution, temperature, humidity, weather patterns, figuring it out and passing the information, making them IoT enabled. Huge area opening up. 3D printing experts for making prototypes, as I mentioned earlier. Cost optimization, everything mechanical and material professionals. Huge opportunities opening up. Production consultants who can really make, you know, basically who can make things happen. Like, when you want to make any device, you need people with experience in getting it manufactured in large numbers. So anybody who has worked in productionizing things, making on the factory, developing a factory for it, or who has managed projects to manufacture something, big opportunity opening up for IoT related devices for them. Okay, so just wanted to make one point here that we have very deep courses on all these topics that I mentioned earlier, and you can visit instaev.com, because we are a new, I mean, we were old earlier, Excelta, but we have to close it down because of some reason. So now we are a new company, InstaEV. So if you guys visit us, or visit our website, it helps us, to make our site a little bit popular, and and also we believe in sharing information with everybody. Okay, second big opportunity which opens up, this is more familiar to us, right? From basically middleware, which is nothing but software, right? So huge opportunities opening up for software people. Like, as I said earlier, there's a cloud-based platform which is there. And then each device which is manufactured, an IoT device manufactured in a factory or is born in a factory rather. So some of you missed that, but I mentioned earlier, right? So we will always, of course, give you all recorded session. So some of you who missed the first half can actually listen to it later on. But then as these devices spread, huge opportunities for software professionals are opening up. In fact, these are more than hardware people. Some people have this misconception that IoT is about hardware. It's more about software people than hardware in many ways. So you have things like, platform tech experts. So there are several IoT platforms which I explained earlier. Xively, ThingWorx, IBM Bluemix, Exida, InstaEV has its own platform called Osmosis, right? So all these things, kind of require people who have expertise in those platforms. And each of these platforms is like SAP. Okay, hugely required. Okay, somebody is making science on this, please don't do that. Platform, domain experts, so many um, different kinds of things happening. The server side protocols are there, Kubernetes expertise, there's so many different things, data streaming experts. So I'll go into many of these things now, one by one. So you have, let me just try and clean this screen. Okay. So you have this, product experts. So there are many platforms or many software, software modules which are available, and anybody who develops expertise in those is GE, ABB, Microsoft, IBM, Oracle, all have their own IoT software platforms or software, you can say, frameworks. Having expertise in any one of them makes you immediately, basically what you call billable in the market. So basically what I'm saying is, if you have, or to top it all, everything is free. There's no charge for anything. Everything is free here. So getting an expertise on these things opens up a plethora of opportunities for you guys, all of you. Then integration experts. So when these IoT devices come up, for example, let's say there's a car, which is IoT smart car, Tesla car, let's say. Okay. Now this Tesla car is driving on the road and some issue, the sensors inside detect some issue, right? So that issue will now go to the cloud-based platform, IoT platform, that, okay, in the engine, the oil is running a little bit low, right? So from there, it will travel to the oil fitment people who are everywhere in the city, and it will go to a particular IoT fitment people. So he will check in his SAP platform. He will see a request coming in, and one person will drive in, and he will know, okay, this person needs oil change, right? So that is where what I'm saying, that you need to integrate these IoT platforms with backend systems, because already SAP systems, Oracle systems, are existing everywhere in the world in all companies. But data will now come real time from machines, cars, home appliances, and everything, homes, and everything else, basically. So how to do that is very crucial, and millions of people, software people, will be required to do that over the next 10, 20, 30 years, as more and more products become IoT enabled and need to integrate with backend systems. So you have, platforms, big data platforms. So this data needs to go into big data. So there are big data, a lot of softwares in big data to integrate this data with that, to be able to, analyze the data, come up with conditions and other things. Big opportunity opening up. IoT platforms for mobile applications, beacons, etc. are there. So big opportunity opening up there, where you need to understand, somebody needs to integrate with those things. Then analytics engines are there, which are there in many of those platforms, where you use programming languages like R and other things to kind of get this data and develop actionable items based on that. So a lot of opportunities for software people in any of these areas which are coming up, and they are now accelerating. So next few years, at least next 10 to 15 years belong to IoT basically. So better is it is to get into it now rather than later. Okay, for data security experts, encryption and data security is one of the big issues in IoT, and this is one of the reasons where IoT has been a little bit slow to pick up in the last few years, but now it is really catching up, right? So you have like cryptography techniques to encrypt data, encryption techniques. Many of these protocols have encryption technologies built into them. You have this blockchain which is coming up. Blockchain is also I'll call it a subset of IoT basically, where you have mechanism of how to make your communication and everything foolproof, and nobody can kind of hack into it. In IoT, because things become physical, somebody shuts down your AC in the night, big problem for you. Or somebody fails your brake when you are driving your car, big problem, right? So security is very important, and anybody having security knowledge in cloud, there's so many loopholes, right? Cloud, you have low range communication protocols from node to gateway. Then you have gateway to cloud, long range communication. Then the data has to go into the server on the cloud, where again hacking possibilities are there. So how to secure all that? Big opportunities opening up for people. So guys, again reminding everybody, please type in your questions. Already we are like 35 minutes into the session. I'll be taking the session for another 5-10 minutes, and then I will be going into question answers. So please type in whatever questions you have for your You can ask questions like, I'm this, so what is the opportunity for me, kind of thing, and I'll try and answer all of them. So please keep typing in your questions. Then you have cloud experts, right? So all the IoT cloud side, all the platforms reside on the cloud. So that's a de facto mechanism, right? So if you have expert in any one of those cloud, AWS, Azure, IBM, huge opportunities for you in the coming years from software side again. Data center specialists, people, now the data is going to go to cloud. Now the real data requirements are coming. Whatever data we have today in data centers is like 1% of what we are going to see in future when IoT becomes, everywhere, because each device will send trillions of data items per year. So you're talking about trillion bytes of data, every month adding. So you require tens of thousands. So in India itself, I can imagine, every city having 10, 20, 50 data centers, loading data and processing data. So data center specialists, people who can manage that, huge important and very, very important. And already we can see that in Hyderabad, for example, 10 data centers have opened in the last 2 years. I was not aware of it, but somebody told me. In fact, there are another dozen or so under construction. So huge opportunities opening. Security experts, again, I already mentioned basically data security and all that. So huge opportunities opening up. Complex event processing experts. So this data, imagine a cloud-based system, and let's imagine, there are millions of devices, billions of devices, all of them sending data to let's say there are billions of air conditioners, or let's say Tesla cars. So Tesla has sold, let's imagine, 10 million cars. And then there's a cloud-based platform, which is receiving data from all these cars, right? So then at any given instance, probably 100,000 cars are sending data, or even more. So each and every car should feel that I am being catered to, my data is going in, action is being taken on my data and all that. So that is complex event processing, where the cloud-based platform is able to process all this data simultaneously. So it uses racks upon racks of servers, and it uses a lot of mechanisms to do it. There are softwares which help do that. And complex event processing experts, again, a very big area, which is opening up in IoT. You guys, so that, then there are other areas. I don't have time to cover all the areas, but for big data consultants, big opportunities. So all these softwares I've written here, and all these tools I've written here, all these are opportunities for big data experts. User experience experts. You need now applications which have to work with the user, and they have to work live with the user, real time, should be easy to use. So usability expert, testing experts, domain experts, as I already mentioned. Huge opportunities opening up for tons of people. And that's where, a lot of thing mobile experts. So mobile experts, all these applications are basically require a mobile interface today. So people who are mobile experts can develop mobile applications, big opportunities opening up for them, because these mobile applications will now do real life and deep things, rather just games or some simple things. There will be real applications which will work on real things in your life. So big opportunities opening up there also. So as I said earlier, we are in education. We have a big education, deep education capabilities on online courses, boot camps, protocols, and anybody who wants to get into IoT, we could be one-stop shop. We are one of the world's largest. So we are pioneers in this. We were the first ones to start in the world, having trained tens of thousands of people. And, we have lab-based trainings, and we have so many other trainings which work on it. And you can mail us at corporate@instaiv, or you can visit our website at instaiv.com. And you can then work for top companies. See, what's happening in the world today is countries like Germany, France, Japan, Canada, these have become old, basically. Population has become old. They are looking for people who can take care of their countries or their companies. So these countries also are the richest countries of the world. Okay, please note that I'm not including US here, because US has made very difficult for people to come. But all these other countries are welcoming Indians, or welcoming people from all over the world who have knowledge in the latest technologies. So IoT is definitely one of the key things in that area. And everywhere you go to all these countries, website, immigration website, you will see that IoT is one of the key programmers. So having experience. So we not only give training, but we also give experience, because you will, in our trainings, make an actual IoT device, work basically, and push data to cloud, take action on it, and all those things will happen. So a lot of, people who have knowledge on testing, people who have knowledge on development, people who have knowledge on hardware, software, huge opportunities opening up. What I read recently was that all these countries which I mentioned here, and some more maybe, which I missed, there are going to be at least 1 million people from India who are going to emigrate to these countries over the next 5 years. And trust me, when I say this, people who will have IoT, industrial IoT knowledge will be the key people that these countries will allow to enter and make a living. So great opportunity opening up for people from all over India. So these are some of the companies I've mentioned. These are IoT companies I've mentioned, but there are so many other, you know, UK, Sweden, Germany, France, South Africa, Italy, Canada, and of course in India also lots of companies. I'm not saying don't work in India. India is also a great place to work. I myself moved back from US to India like 15 years back, and I'm having a good time here in India. So these are some of the typical job opportunities which are there, like IoT solution architect. So we have trainings catering to many of this, and we have entire spectrum of trainings, and all are online basically. You don't need to visit lab. We are now having a lab in Hyderabad, and we are planning to open up labs. So anybody interested in opening a lab with us is welcome to do that also as an entrepreneur. Anybody wants to do that. Let me now, try and open the basically the chat window and see. One second, guys. Let me just do 1 second here. Yeah. So I see a lot of questions in the chat window. So somehow it's okay. So from Bonn, yeah, we will definitely share copy of webinar, video recording of webinar. So all of you will get it. So Balakrishna is saying that I want to become IoT expert and start for your training modules as my first step to. So kindly call me. Okay, Bala, definitely. I think we will call you, and you can definitely do that because that's how you can really move in your career ahead. Okay. Let me start from the top. Actually, I started from the bottom. Okay. If I need to make, somebody is asking, Ajay Kumar is asking, if I need to make an IoT solution having the gateway and multiple nodes, then should I build both gateway nodes myself or generally? Definitely, you don't need to build yourself. There are so many nodes and gateways available. But if you have a unique use case, they might not be available also. But we expertise in that, so we can guide you to the right people. You can connect with us. If we have that knowledge, we'll pass it on to you. We don't. We believe in sharing knowledge. So, which communication protocol being mostly used between gateway and nodes? In which cheapest protocol module is available in the market? So there are lots of that. Very difficult for me to tell you. But BLE modules are very cheap. They cost only few cents. So maybe like 10 rupees, 50 rupees. You can get a very good BLE module. A Wi-Fi module, for example, will cost you like 500 rupees, 400 rupees, or $5, $7 minimum. And a Bluetooth module, low energy module will cost you like 20 rupees, which is like 10, 15, 20 cents maybe. So a very, very large variety available. Depending on the use case, depending on data transfer, depending on the power consumption, you will have to choose the right protocol and the right module. Will current conflict with China impact IoT solutions? Is most electronics? I don't think this conflict is going to be anything. It's already, I heard today that it's resolved already. So nobody wants to get into war in these times. Already people are so much depressed with COVID, right? Which by the way is again a gift from China, but anyway. So nothing is going to happen. People are not going to cut their own bread for wars, etc. Being a recently graduated fresher, can you please tell me how to get? Definitely, Najim. If you are a fresher, you are so lucky today. I wish I was a fresher today. Huge opportunities open up for me. And even if you want to find a job in IoT or any such related areas, you can please. We will ask Amani to give you a call. Of course, your number is here, so you can. We will get in touch with you, or you can, mail us at corporate@instaivy.com, or you can visit InstaIV, INSTAIVY, right? And you can, request for a brochure of any training and we'll call you back. Put your number there. So, if you want to replicate this webinar in Nigeria, Bon, I can help you do that. I can take this webinar in Nigeria also from India. You just need to tell me the timing, and you can have to invite people and you have to share information with me. Get in touch with me, basically. I'm very excited to work with you in Nigeria. How to start with IoT, Kapil is asking. As I'm a working professional in industrial automation. Great, yeah. If you are already working in industrial automation, IoT is a boon to you. We have courses like, solution architect and other things. I think you should do it because that will really help you. If you want to start, Dilip, an IoT startup, this is the best time, but you should have, of course, some leeway in terms of your finances and other things. But if you want to start an IoT startup, you want to get technical information, you have some idea in your mind, share with us. We will help you do that. And we will try and, work with you and try and get it live, basically. We have done it with at least, I'm proud to share that at least 20 people who have taken our education modules have started their companies, and some of them are doing quite well. In fact, they are bigger than us today. Definitely, Dilip, people who are doing this, who have knowledge of IoT is a must-have. If you want to work in companies like Apple, Google, Facebook, any such company, if you have an IoT kind of knowledge, everybody is looking for it. So next step, Balakrishna, is to get in touch with us. Network engineers play a big role. See, everything is about communication today, right, Aditya? So if you have knowledge in network, it's all about data transfer, data flow. And knowledge of network is crucial so that networks don't get overloaded. Managing networks, again, a big area, right? So knowledge of IoT is crucial for people with network because the kind of load that is going to be there on the networks is going to be huge, basically. So IoT sensors are not accurate enough, Rohit is asking. If I want to create something with high accuracy, how do I do it with such sensors? You see, industrial sensors, there are 4 grades of sensors. There's a generic grade, which probably you are using. But then there is a military grade, there is a medical grade, there is an industrial grade. Cost is high. So if your use case is such that you can pay very high money, there is a temperature sensor, which costs, 50 cents. And then there's a temperature sensor, which costs $150. Or even $5,000. I've seen temperature sensors costing $5,000 because they are used in very high-end application in nuclear power plants because they want that level of accuracy. So what I'm saying is, it's up to you. Sensors are available. You have to choose the right one for your use case, because if you put a $10,000 sensor in trying to measure temperature in a warehouse, nobody's going to buy your device, right? But if you're building a satellite-based product, definitely $10,000 is okay. So what I'm saying is, you have to choose the right sensor for your thing. So you have a OEM, then definitely there are companies which work. You mail me at corporate@excelera.com or instaiv.com and I'll get back to you. Corporate@instaiv.com. I'll just type in, so that you can have it. Okay. So again, I think I've answered most of the questions. So, if you want to get industrial IoT, for example, is the biggest area opening up in the world, and there is never going to be any bigger area opening up in terms of job prospects and other things worldwide. Okay. So, and we have the world's first IoT lab. We have built industrial IoT first worldwide lab, and at least 10 industries have bought our lab already. Okay. So we can definitely provide, training on lab to you. In Hyderabad, we have a physical lab. We want to open these labs in other places in India and the world, basically. It has full-fledged industrial setup and it's very cheap to set it up, but huge opportunity for people to make money. So anybody want to become entrepreneur, want to do something, welcome to, call us and become a lab partner. And you can do it on the side with a job also, because all the training and everything is managed by us. Yeah, definitely. IoT Bootcamp is not just basic, it goes beyond basic. It gives you a 3-month jumpstart into IoT. Okay, so Debrata, my answer to you is, please do the bootcamp course, really help you. Okay, guys, that brings me to the end of session. So I'm calling it end now. Okay, I'm ending the meeting now. almost like 50 minutes. I hope I answered many of your questions. I hope you enjoyed the session. So thanks for attending. Really, really pleased to talk to you guys, and share my 2 bits of information that I have, and really appreciate you guys finding time. So Rohit is saying, high accuracy medical sensors. Rohit, I'll answer your question. You get in touch with me. It's rude not to, kind of get in touch with me. Please get in touch.